USA didn't need you. This link's great.
It appears we are
I got to tape
streaming
on my truck.
live right now, but I think we're gonna wait a few minutes to see if we can get Commissioner Kaplan.
It's nice to see you on that side.
For change.
Recording.
So how I would look.
I told him I would
Keep
wait
up
for
now.
just all the speech on that. You're about to write it up.
Now I'm being recorded.
Roxanne said something. She's been so helpful to me. Oh, please tell
I have pictures.
I've seen pictures.
You have?
Yeah.
Pictures.
her. She's amazing.
People who are watching.
When you sunk that putt,
I'm sure I don't have any.
Yeah.
Wait,
When you
wait.
sunk that putt on 14, it was amazing.
They cheered. They all yelled USA when I made that putt.
That's
Yeah.
amazing. I'm so proud.
Hey, Cal, did you move? Did you move?
We moved back. We moved back in. So we're back in. It'll be done on Thursday.
Okay.
And then the next Thursday, and the next Thursday.
No.
Really, you do that?
Jealous.
While we're on tape, we had to, my kid's getting married.
Okay.
Awesome.
Just give me.
I have nothing
couple
going on
minutes.
right now.
See.
Brian, what's the word on Kaplan?
He's still in traffic, but he should be here any minute.
I'm just gonna wait a couple minutes. If he's not here, we're gonna go.
Okay.
Hmm.
The Commissioner Bernstein.
Yeah.
No, my chop liver, Vice President. I don't get a picture.
No, I just-
No.
He asked me if I was running late, and I said no.
Oh, there we go.
It's so quiet. right now.
I said, "So you just got off the golf course."
No, that's the corner.
No, I just. All right.
Okay. Regular board meeting of Park District of Highland Park is called to order on Tuesday, September 28th, 2021 at 6:03 PM. Is there a motion to allow President Rottenberg to participate in tonight's meeting by electronic means?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Ryan, can you please call the vote?
Commissioner Bernstein,
Hi.
Commissioner Kaplan,
Aye.
Commissioner Freeman,
Hi.
Vice President Grossberg.
Yes, motion carried.
Thank you.
Call the roll.
Commissioner Bernstein,
Here.
Commissioner Kaplan, here, Commissioner Freeman.
Here.
Vice President Grossberg,
Here.
President Rottenberg.
Sort of here.
Okay, additions to the agenda, Executive Director Romes, are there any additions to the agenda?
I believe there are. I believe we want to add under unfinished business, format for regular park board meetings due to COVID-19.
Okay. So we do public comment now?
Yep, sure.
Okay, so public comment for items on the agenda. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but if you want to speak in person, please raise your hand, and you'll be granted the opportunity to speak. Before virtual attendees, do we have any virtual today?
We do have three, but if you want to do it, see if anybody.
Okay, when called upon, please state your name and address the podium. So is there anyone here in public that would like to speak now? No? Good. Just, you want to come on up to the mic and just tell us who you are? No?
My name's Annette Littler, and I'm on the City Council, Highland Park.
It's just for recording, sorry, that's the only reason. The mic records it.
Hi, I'm Annette Littler, and I'm the liaison from City Council, Highland Park, and I just wanted to say it's wonderful to be here in person, even masked, and to see your operations, and I commend you on all the good work you're doing, and look forward to working with you going forward.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thanks for being
You're a big upgrade from our previous meeting.
I'll be sure to talk.
We are on the camera. He looks very relaxed though. Right, too. Very stress free. Okay, anybody else? Anyone wishing to speak and attending this meeting virtually, please use the raised hand function in Zoom to indicate they would like to speak. The board secretary will call on registrants who have activated the raised hand feature in alphabetical order. So anybody out there, Mr. Rome?
We have 3 attendees, but no one has their hand raised, so no comment.
Okay, so we're gonna go to the consent agenda. So, looking that over, we have several items on there. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Second.
Brian, please call the roll.
Commissioner Bernstein,
Aye.
Commissioner Kaplan,
Aye.
Commissioner Freeman,
Aye.
Vice President Grossberg,
Yes.
and President Ruttenberg. President Ruttenberg, oh, sorry, you're muted.
Sorry about that. I vote yes.
Okay.
Okay, motion carries. Great financial forecast, Director Peters to present.
Okay, good evening. The 2021 financial forecast and treasurer's report for the period ending August 31st, 2021 was in your board packet, and it's included. We are just going to look at a couple of the key slides from that packet. Did you say you can't
Hold
hear
on
me?
a second.
You're fine, yeah. Just,
Can you hear me now?
we can hear you fine
We
for the
can hear you,
recording.
just for the recording.
Oh, okay, all right. All right, we will start with looking at our consolidated operations slide. And as we can see on here, that our actual revenues, the dotted line, are about $2.6 million more than where we budgeted them to be at the end of August. As far as our expenses are concerned, the dotted line has come in at around $1.4 million less than where we had budgeted our expenditures to be. And so for the period ended August 31st, 2021, we're about $4 million in a better position than where we had originally budgeted to be. When we compare ourselves at August 31st versus the 3-year average of 2017 through 2019, which were 3 pre-COVID years, we are also outpacing those years to the tune of about $2.5 million. So some of the explanations as to why our numbers look the way we do, or look the way they do. As far as our revenues are concerned, we want to keep in mind that at the beginning of the year, we pulled in a couple extra $100,000 in property taxes that are 2020 dollars, but had to be recorded in 2021 due to laws and based on when they were received into the district. Also, we want to recall that the extension from Lake County came in higher than what we had budgeted it to be, so we're collecting more taxes than we're budgeted. We also have several areas. We have athletics, camps, tennis, golf, recreation, which have each come in as of, or for the period of August 31st at least $150,000 greater than where they were originally budgeted to be. On the expense side, helping things out too, our payroll expenses are about $350,000 less than where they were budgeted to be at the end of August. We do have a couple of timing differences though, which are important to note. We know that we have about $200,000 in camp busing invoices that have not hit yet. Those will hit in September. So we'll see this expense line narrow a bit. And then the other thing that's important to remember is property taxes. They're coming in a little bit more quickly than we had anticipated them to be. And so where we showed this more of a jagged line originally expecting more property taxes to come into September, we actually pulled in roughly $1 million more in August, and that'll be a timing difference to September. So when we look at this $4 million, I'd rather you think of it as a $3 million just because of some timing differences. And this will level out at the end of September when we do our more thorough quarterly review. Okay. So when we look at the general fund specifically, again, when we look at our dashed or actual revenue versus the budgeted revenue, we're up about $450,000. And then if we look at our actual expenses, the red dash line versus the budgeted red line for the period of August 31st, we can see that expenses are under budget by about $1.2 million. That puts us overall, when we compare ourselves actual to budget in August 31st, at about a $1.2 million surplus. And when we compare ourselves back to the year 2019 at August 31st, Again, a pre-COVID year, we're about $750,000 better than we were that year at August 31st. Some of the details behind these numbers, when we look at revenues, again, in this fund, we had 2020 collections that reflected in 2021. Again, the Lake County extension came in higher than what we budgeted it to be. And then we have about $200,000 in timing differences in this fund, so that should level out mostly at the end of September. We'll see that happen. We do have significant savings in payroll expense when we look at our expense line item there. And then we also do have just some smaller things. Probably the biggest one is lawn mowing expense that's running about a month behind as far as the timing difference. So again, that will catch up. So when we look at this, as far as timing differences, we're probably about $200,000. So this amount is really hovering about 1 million versus the 1.2. And that's for the general fund. When we look at the recreation fund, same story. We have our revenues that are coming in at about $2 million more than where we have budgeted to be at the end of August. And those expenses were coming in less than where we had budgeted them to be by about $700,000. So that puts us at a surplus of about $2.7 million for the period ended August 31st. And again, when we compare this year versus pre-COVID year 2019, we're at about $1.4 million better at the end of August than we were back then. Again, some of the things driving these differences. Again, we have those 2020 taxes that came in 2021. Again, our Lake County extension came in higher than we budgeted it to be. We have athletics, camp, tennis, all recreation, Westridge Center, all doing better than where we budgeted them to be for the period end of August 31st. On the expense side, again, we have payroll coming in significantly less than we had budgeted to be. If you remember, at the beginning of the year, we had a lot of closures, reductions in services, and so we did realize facility operating expenses coming in less than what they had budgeted as well. And then also in this expense number, we do get $200,000 of busing bills that will hit. And we do also have a bit of a timing difference, probably to the tune of about $800,000 for property taxes overall. It ended up coming in August, but we had budgeted to hit in September. So again, that will flatten out at the end of September. That's pretty much the wrap on. And so I think we're going to just really jump to our conclusion at this point. So in conclusion, in January of 2021, Park District programs and facilities were either partially closed or canceled due to COVID mitigation efforts. Since the Park District was able to significantly adjust expenses, especially payroll at $360,000 below budget, resulting in roughly $4 million above budgeted net revenue for the period ending August 31st, 2021. Keep in mind the number contains a couple $100,000 of camp busing expenses that have yet to be booked and roughly $1 million of property tax timing difference. That aside, when comparing 2021 actuals versus 2017 to 2019 averages, we are $2.5 million over the pre-COVID bottom line for the same period. Finally, for the period ended August 31st, 2021, athletics shows a surplus of $220,000 more than budget. Camp is at $220,000 greater than budget. Tennis has a surplus of $388,000 greater than budget. Golf is at $627,000 more than budget. And recreation is at $166,000 more than budget. In fact, all of our cost centers, except for 3, are operating a surplus for the period ended August 31st, 2021. And all of the places, the Park District, in a favorable financial position at the end of August. Does anyone have any questions?
Okay, President Rothenberg, question.
I have no questions. Thank you for a good report.
Okay, Commissioner Freeman,
Nothing for me, thank you.
Commissioner Kaplan. Which they're not running those.
So we have the water park came in at about $20,000 less than we would where we had budgeted to be. Park Avenue came in at about $9,000 less than where we had budgeted to be. And outdoor tennis came in at about $9,000 less, but you can see overall tendencies just not going to affect them. But
Thank you. Commissioner Bernstein.
I have nothing to add.
And my other question would be, how does the budget as it looks right now, how does your thinking change for next year as you're preparing the budget? You know, what kind of things are on the horizon for you?
So we just started giving budget presentations by the various areas. When we sent out the original memo and conducted our budget training, we asked people to budget next year sort of for the new normal, which I would say would very much follow up with how the second half of this year is done. So it will be anticipating some of these better looking numbers versus we had budgeted this year for a phase 4.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay, thank you very much. We're moving on to unfinished business. The format for regular public meetings due to COVID-19. President Ruttenberg to present.
Brian, I don't have the printout. Could you present this?
Yeah, sure. So in talking with President Ruttenberg over the past few weeks, I think the obvious is that we know, according to the CDC, Lake County continues to be at a high risk for community transmission of COVID-19. So consistent with the governor's most recent executive order, as well as practices that we are seeing in other local governments, such as the city of Highland Park. And because of the circumstances surrounding the spread of COVID-19, the belief from President Ruttenberg, and I concur, is that it is not practical or prudent to continue holding the regular park board meetings in person. And we recommend that they be held virtually until further notice. So we will remain, of course, compliant with Open Meetings Act, and we will continue to live stream all of the meetings for public's view. Additionally, members of the public can attend the meeting virtually by registering, and they can provide public comment virtually as well. For the park board committee meetings, which are smaller in nature, there are only 3 board members, and also the staff. Typically, all the staff do not attend those meetings as well. We will continue to stream those live, but we will continue to do those in person for the time being. But the public will be able to, again, attend those meetings virtually. They can also attend them in person, but we will be encouraging everyone to view them online and to register and attend virtually. And all this is to assist with the slow of the spread of COVID-19. To note, all facilities of the Park District of Highland Park do require face coverings to be worn in public spaces, anything that's in person. So really, we just, I think, with direction from President Ruttenberg, just wanted to see if there were any comments from the board or if there were any objections to his recommendation.
President Ruttenberg, does that accurately reflect what you were going to present?
Yes, I wish I could find my notes so I could have presented it, but they decided they would attend the meeting in person, I think.
Okay, so you don't have anything to add or whatever to that report?
No, I think it's just a sound safety procedure for us to follow. And, it's consistent with our efforts that we've just taken on the vaccination program. And I just think until this ill time that we're suffering through, we should be as conscious of the possibility of safety as we ever could.
Okay, going kind of in reverse order, Commissioner Bernstein.
I only have a question with regard to the committee meetings. You said that they'll still be in person. Is there still going to be a requirement that in order for the meeting to proceed, that you at least need to have 2 commissioners at the meeting?
Yes, two commissioners.
Is there any way that we can circumvent that rule? Not in that if the commissioners decide they don't want to attend, that we can do the meeting entirely virtual, like a board meeting, rather than compelling commissioners to come to those meetings.
So we can do, so long as the president or the board believe that it is not prudent to have the meeting in person due to health and safety. We can hold any meeting virtually, fill all the meetings virtually. But we, if, does that answer your
So
question? I
my
guess?
question
Yeah.
is, let's say there's a recreation meeting
Mhm.
and there's 3 commissioners who are, and all 3 decide they want to attend that meeting virtually. Can that meeting still occur?
It can, but then the reason for it to go virtually would have to be the same reason that we're deciding to do the regular meetings in person. So by that means, we would want to do all the community meetings in person
Well, but if we're
or
protecting,
virtually.
if we're protecting people from these meetings,
Mhm.
what's the difference to protect people from other meetings?
The only reason it was decided this way was because there are less people at the committee meeting. There are only 3. So certainly if you have a different opinion on the matter, that's up for discussion.
Well, since the committee meetings will be virtual anyways, I mean, they'll be broadcasted, so to speak. I don't see the difference. I don't see why. I say that either we do all or nothing. Basically, the committee meetings will either, I'll follow the lead of our president, and I support his leadership on this issue. So whatever our president decides to do, then I'm fine with that.
Well, let me, since my name has been taken in vain again. It was, my preference is that all of our meetings are virtual.
And I like your preference.
And the only reason we suggested this as well, I'll call it a compromise, is that there seemed to be feelings among the board that some of the meetings should be in person, such as some of the committee meetings. I am absolutely willing to say all the meetings from this point forward are virtual.
Until further notice.
Well, forever, until, like, God forbid. Yes, until further notice. And unless there's an objection to that, let's just do that.
Oh, I may have an objection to that. Only because I feel that our meetings, in my opinion, are more effective in person. Honestly, and we get better feedback, I think, from the community, and I think it's easier in a way for them to have the choice of coming in or not. I was one of the people that pushed that. I wasn't pushing for a hybrid, but when I heard that there was a chance for a hybrid, I was excited about that opportunity. If it was all in or all out, me personally, I would rather say all in person, but that's just me.
Brian's expressed his opinion. Jen?
I'm a bit ambivalent on the topic, and it's hard to, I mean, when you're afraid for your health and safety, it's hard to, if someone is, it's very hard to put myself in those shoes, other than to say I respect that, and if that's your recommendation, then I respect the guidance there.
My recommendation is that we go completely virtual from this point.
Is this something we vote on, or is it just?
It doesn't require a vote, because if the president deems that it's not prudent to meet in person, then we would just do it virtually unless there were objections from 3 or more board members.
I have one suggestion, is there a sentiment from staff is what they would prefer? Because obviously it's just not us, it's the staff that participates in it. What's the feedback you're getting from staff?
Staff will do, there's no recommendation from staff because what deems an in-person meeting is really based on the board, not on staff. So obviously there's benefits to meeting in person in regards to being able to, have a in-person conversation, and for some people it's easier to be attentive to the conversation, but it really is up to what we need to be for the best of health and safety. Staff can always attend virtually because it's based on board numbers. So we could tell all staff to attend virtually all the meetings, even if they're in person, and it won't matter.
I understand President Ruttenberg is making this recommendation, or making a suggestion. As executive director, what's your opinion?
Again, I'm similar to what Janet said. I am completely fine meeting virtually. I like in-person meetings, but certainly respect the health and safety of our community, of our board members, and of our staff. So I support the recommendation that's being made. If the recommendation that I support is that specifically the one that he gave regarding, I do feel like committee meetings are less people, and but either way, if the board were to be supportive of all virtual, I would support that as well.
Can I say something before we close the topic? Is that I just want to bring up the slippery slope element of this. That if I would love to know what our exit strategy is. I think that we are designed to be an in-person board. That's the way government works in general. This is the way it's worked until the pandemic hit. And I would love to know, other than a change of president and a change of thought by the board, is what are our terms for coming back in? Is it a percentage of people that, or is it just how we're feeling? So
I
again,
think this is COVID driven. This isn't,
but how long is COVID going to be driving us? Is what
well,
I'm saying.
if you had a crystal ball, I can tell you that, but nobody knows. If this is COVID driven, we could address it in 6 weeks, 6 months, 6 days, 6 years, whenever it's appropriate.
Yeah.
But nobody knows when it's going to be appropriate. No one's talking, and I agree with you. In-person meetings are better. They're much more better.
I agree. I totally agree with what they're saying, but the only reason, to be honest, which I try to be with everybody, is providing the compromise is because I had heard people were having some different views. If this is something that is at the discretion of the president of the board, I prefer the absolute safest course of action for our staff, our board, and our public. And if I could slam a hammer down and say we're virtual from this point forward, that's what I would do. But I respect the opinions of my contemporaries and didn't want to just, rule by fiat
Yeah.
or Toyota or whatever it is.
It's this point forward that I'm concerned with. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I
This could be
mean,
forever.
we have an unavailable vaccines. They're not available for a certain age population that we intermingle with, so that is a concern for some, right? Booster coming out, not available for everybody yet, so does it depend on vaccines? Does it depend? I don't want it to depend on my personal point of view because I don't think we have quite the novel virus situation that we had when this started, and so we're all walking around in other areas of our life where we're exposing ourselves to this, so this is one. If someone is not and chooses to continue to refrain from that, that's a different story. But we are all sitting here with a mask on. So, again, respectful ambivalence and deference to the recommendation. But is it one I would be making if I were president? Probably not. Does that answer your question?
I'll take the heat. We're virtual.
Okay.
So wait, Terry, smack the hammer down.
Let's move to the next.
Actually, it's called the gavel.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Hammer.
Okay, new business. A Park Foundation update. Vice President Grossberg to present. If you want. Well, I was going to talk about the fundraising aspect of it. So there's been several programs that they have been a part of, and you can, of course, fill in anything. The events that were highlighted include what they're talking about with the Champions Banquet, whatever that could look like, Bike the Parks 5K, the pickleball tournaments, golf outings, and the annual appeal. Okay, they need to get some more support for these things, but we have a very competent board right now that is planning on doing great things with the help of some outside people who are helping them with fundraising strategies and goals. The fundraising committee also recommended setting a specific give or get amount. So we're trying to get the board to contribute or find other people that can help contribute. We're talking about the brick. I don't know if everybody here knows that they're selling bricks and hopscotches at Sunset Woods Park. So $7,200 has been raised in doing that. And we had some people going out to sell at Touch a Truck. And we netted $2,000 at the pickleball tournament. So they're going to keep having these throughout the years. Some of them are student board led. We have a student board at the high school, and others we have that professional one that came in. We've requested a grant for FYI. Really gives us the best opportunity to receive grants. That's the initiative where Highwood kids are eligible to get help with swimming, etc. And so we requested a grant from the Highland Park Community Foundation, and we're waiting to see if and how much we get at that point. Then there was a lot of talk about promotion. Is there other things you wanted to add?
The only thing that I would add to what you reported on is that I know since that meeting last week, I think we're closer to about $10,000 raised to go towards the Sunset Woods Playground Plaza brick sales. And I know the foundation is encouraging all of the foundation board members, the park board members, as well as all the residents and park users to consider purchasing a brick in support of the playground plaza area that will obviously be enjoyed by many families and residents and users of Sunset Woods Park. And I know that there was volunteers from the foundation at the Touch a Truck this weekend, and that was very well attended. And so their goal, I think, for that capital campaign is about $25,000. So they're getting closer, and that's all I was going to add.
And I know that they have a goal. They have 8 they have 8 board members right now, and they're looking to expand that to 11, I believe it was the recommendation, 11 or 12. And so the outreach has begun to get that. If we can get a good solid 11 or 12 there, I think that they'll really start coming. So I'm very proud of the work that the foundation is doing. And that Rafael Labrador is taking over for Bernstein. Is doing a great job bringing everybody together for common goal.
All right.
Very good. Okay, director's report, executive director room.
Yeah, I just want to give an update to the board and community on some events that we have coming up over the next month or so. So on September 30th, we will have a drive-in movie showing at the Recreation Center of Highland Park in the parking lot. We'll be showing Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. There are still spots available, and it's $30 per vehicle. Or you can do an upgrade, which has a private fire pit experience for a little bit more of a cost. And currently, I think there's 19 cars that are registered. On Friday, in October 22nd, we are going to be hosting our Halloween Hauntings. It's going to be at Larry Fink Park this year, and it will be a walking haunted trail around town. So tickets are available for this, and those are $15 per person. So far, we've sold about 175 tickets, so we anticipate that will be a popular event.
Is there a max out on that or everybody?
Chris or Mitch, I don't know if you're on the call. I don't know if there's a max. Mitch, are you on the call? Oh, Mitch is
There are still spots available.
This is last meeting.
Okay. There are still spots available. I don't know what the max is, but it's, we can certainly report that. So, also this weekend, Sunset Valley Golf Course is hosting the Illinois Junior Golf Association Fall Junior Elite Event. This is on Saturday and Sunday. There's currently 72 players in the field for boys and girls. We believe President Ruttenberg has someone in his family, a grandson, I believe, playing.
Yep, that's right.
Good luck to him. And that is, again, Saturday and Sunday, 11 a.m. That'll include at 2 p.m. So there are 2 times of the public open in the morning and late afternoon as well. But certainly can stop by and check that out. Also, we do have Heller Honey, I think some of you have them on your table there. Heller Honey is for sale. Thanks to our hardworking staff and hardworking volunteers. This year, we harvested over 800 pounds of honey. The Heller Honey is 100% natural. And it is produced by the Park District's very own Heller Nature Center.
No, it's produced by our very own Park District bees.
I didn't even think of these.
Sorry, thank you to the bees. They work hard all year round for the harvest, which takes place in August. Cost for the jar is $11, or if you just want a sample, we have honey sticks for about 25 cents or $5 for $1. They're available at Heller Nature Center Monday and Wednesday, 8:30 to 5, and at the Rec Center Monday through Friday during the hours of operation, as well as Saturday and Sunday. So a couple other things. Want to make notion that the Park District did receive some statewide recognition with the Illinois Association of Park Districts Best of the Best Award for sportsmanship, honoring 2 of our volunteer coaches, David and Andy Engel. So they will be recognized at the IAPD Best of the Best Awards Gala on October 15th. So I want to congratulate them and thank them for all of their work with the community and with the kids in our athletic programs in baseball. So thank you to them and congratulations to them. Lastly, a couple other things. We will be distributing an RFQ for design services for the West Ridge Center and for the West Ridge site. We've been talking about this for a long time. Obviously, this building is outaged itself, and we are looking at the rebuild of this building and looking at this site. So we are doing a request for qualifications. We talked about this at the facility meeting last week. The RFQ packet will be available on our website. We anticipate that there will be a recommendation to the board in November, and we're hopefully seeking approval for a firm in December. There will be interviews. There will be actually a portion of those interviews that will be a contest where we will give some schematic design. And we will continue to keep the board and the facility committee up to date on how that is progressing. Other than that, one more. That's it. That's all the announcements that I have this evening.
Okay, so board comments, I'm gonna lead off with, I'm glad I'm here in person to receive this Heller Honey. So I want to appreciate that. I want to also appreciate some people that work here in our district. First of all, I want to say to Cole Sanger that guy is always at the golf course. He called me back at 6:45 one time, he called me at 7:30 at night one time, and he's there working with clients and people way beyond the scope of his job. So like a hearty thank you to Cole, also to Rob Saunders, who I recommended a couple people to take lessons, and now those people are beating me in golf. So I want to say that's okay. That's great. I think he's doing a great job, and they've been throwing that praise at him. So great job, Rob. Jen, have anything?
Nothing for me.
President Ruttenberg?
No, thank you.
Okay. Commissioner Bernstein? Commissioner Kaplan? Nada. Wow. Okay. Open the public to address the board. Is there anyone attending this meeting in person who wishes to provide public comment? Anytime, not just things on the agenda. Okay. Is there anyone attending this meeting? And no, that's the same thing.
Virtually.
Anybody?
No.
Attends virtually. And that's a big no too. Okay, thank you. We will not be going to closed session tonight. Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Is there a motion to adjourn? Is there a second? The meeting,
Commissioner Kaplan
yeah.
and
All in favor, say aye.
All in favor, say aye. Oh,
Aye,
you
aye,
gotta say that to do that.
Yeah.
Okay, you gotta rewrite the script. It looks like we're out at 6:40.
Good job.
Not,
Thank you.
not.
everyone.